The 1870s in Texas were a time of immense transformation, a period where the scars of the Civil War still lingered, but the state's vision for the future was clearer than ever. Texans knew that their vast lands, stretching from the piney woods of the east to the rugged plains and deserts of the west, needed more than resilience and courage to truly thrive. They needed connection. Travel across such distances was treacherous and slow. Horses and wagons were the only options for most, and rivers, though vital, were unpredictable and limited. Towns felt isolated, commerce stagnated, and communication was delayed by days or weeks. The solution to this problem would come in the form of iron rails and steam engines, the railroad. The project would not just be about transportation, it would be the key to Texas's destiny, and by extension, America's expansion. The vision of a Texas connected to both the East and the West inspired engineers, investors, and settlers. These rail lines promised more than convenience. They represented speed, security, commerce, and progress. Connecting Texas to Houston and Galveston in the east and El Paso in the west meant integrating Texas fully into the economic and cultural life of the nation. Towns that once seemed isolated and small became vital hubs of trade and opportunity. Steam locomotives roared across plains and valleys, their smoke trailing like banners of progress, a symbol of what human determination could achieve. The trains themselves, with their polished brass fittings and gleaming wheels, were marvels of American engineering and ingenuity. The work to lay these tracks was exhausting, dangerous, and unforgiving. Men labored under a scorching sun, often with little water or food, digging trenches for the rails, leveling uneven ground, and laying heavy iron tracks across miles of rugged terrain. Engineers designed bridges that could withstand floods and tunnels that pierced hills and rocky ridges. Laborers faced rattlesnakes, sudden thunderstorms, and the constant threat of injury from the machinery or falling rocks. Yet every challenge was met with determination. Communities formed around construction sites, families and merchants drawn by the promise of opportunity. Each mile of completed track felt like a mile closer to the future, a promise that Texas would no longer be a remote frontier, but the lifeline connecting the United States from east to west. Beyond logistics and commerce, the railroad carried symbolic weight. Every mile of iron laid across Texas was a testament to American courage, grit, and ingenuity. The railroads brought cotton from the fields of East Texas to northern mills, cattle from the panhandle to the railheads, and timber from forests to distant cities. They carried mail, news, and people faster than ever before, shrinking distances that had once made Texas feel like a land apart. To the nation, Texas's role was clear. This was a state that could endure adversity and lead progress, a proud heart in the chest of the United States. Americans could look at the Lone Star State and feel pride in its vision, its laborers, and its role in forging the backbone of the country. Texas wasn't just joining the nation, it was connecting it. The railroad was the artery through which the lifeblood of commerce, culture, and unity would flow across the continent. By the early 1880s, the Texas Railroad network had begun to transform the state from a vast, semi-wild frontier into a thriving hub of commerce, travel, and national influence. Cities like Dallas, Fort Worth, and Houston rose as central nodes along these iron pathways, bustling with new businesses, hotels, and depots. The railroads were more than infrastructure. They were the veins through which the energy of a new America pulsed. For Texans, who had long relied on self-sufficiency in a remote and sometimes hostile environment, the connection to the wider nation was exhilarating. Suddenly, the eastern United States and the western territories were not separated by insurmountable distances. Texas had become the bridge linking them. As locomotives thundered across the plains and deserts, their whistles echoing across canyons and valleys, Americans began to recognize the strategic significance of Texas. Goods, cattle, and crops that once took weeks to move by wagon now reached markets in days. Mail and news traveled faster, shaping political, economic, and cultural life across states. Families could move west with confidence, knowing that steel rails would support their journey and connect them to the broader nation. For Americans watching from both coasts, Texas symbolized opportunity and ingenuity, a state that had turned a challenge, the vastness of the frontier, into an advantage for the entire country. The labor and courage required to build these railroads only enhanced Texas's reputation. Engineers navigated rivers and steep hills, constructed bridges that defied gravity, and carved tunnels through rock to maintain a steady route. Laborers endured scorching summers, freezing winters, and miles of isolated work under harsh conditions. Outlaws, bandits, and dangerous wildlife were ever-present threats, but the workers pressed forward, driven by the belief that their efforts would unite the continent. Americans could see in Texas a reflection of national virtues, resilience, courage, and ingenuity. Every rail completed was a statement of American strength, a reminder that a young nation could overcome distance, geography, and adversity. The economic impact of the Texas railroads was immediate and profound. Ranchers moved cattle faster than ever to reach booming markets in the east. Farmers transported cotton and timber across states. Entrepreneurs shipped manufactured goods to the frontier towns, building commerce networks that had been impossible before. Texas, geographically vast and once remote, became central to national growth. Americans looked at the state with admiration, knowing that its energy, determination, and strategic location had shaped the country's expansion. The railroads were not just a technological achievement. They were proof that American vision could turn the seemingly impossible into reality, and Texas was at the heart of that vision, standing proud as the bridge between East and West. By the late 1880s, the effects of the Texas Railroad expansion were unmistakable. Communities along the tracks had blossomed into vibrant towns, commerce flourished, and Texans themselves had become integral to the national story. What had once been a frontier of isolation now pulsed with industry, culture, and connection. Railroads had transformed Texas into the backbone of continental expansion, linking markets, people, and ideas in ways that were previously unimaginable. Americans could look at the Lone Star State and see a symbol of national ambition and pride, a state that had literally connected the country from east to west. The legacy of this transformation went beyond commerce. Railroads reshaped the identity of Texas and its people. Texans, who had long valued independence, ruggedness, and frontier courage, now found themselves at the center of the nation's economic and cultural life. Their work, ingenuity, and determination were recognized and celebrated across the country. The construction of bridges, tunnels, and tracks became emblematic of American ingenuity, and Texas was seen as the state that had made a previously fragmented continent accessible, navigable, and united. Every mile of track reflected resilience, courage, and vision, qualities Americans held dear. Texas's influence extended beyond transportation. The railroads allowed settlers to move confidently into new territories, encouraged trade across vast distances, and strengthened national unity. Texans had not just contributed to the economy, they had built a cultural bridge, bringing together diverse people, regions, and industries. Looking back, Americans could take pride in knowing that the railroad era in Texas had shaped the modern United States. The state had connected east to west, turned deserts into thriving towns, and ensured that the nation could expand its borders and influence with confidence. Texans, through determination, skill, and daring, had helped define America itself. The legacy was clear. Texas had not only made the country bigger geographically, but had strengthened it economically, culturally, and symbolically. Its railroads were a testament to what Americans could accomplish, and its people remained the embodiment of vision, courage, and unyielding pride.